1 year anniversary since the Oregon Stargate opening, and that was a huge celebration for me because I put so much work, so much dedication into that. Thanks, T Rex. So, I wanted to kind of share with you what went into that process. It was very intense. It really took me into another kind of version of myself, into a whole nother chapter of my life. And I really was able to hone in on some new gifts. So that's why I want to share with you this process of Stargate opening and going on our mission and what it takes to complete them. So, in our previous video, I talked about cleaning your room. And I was explaining that for me, it is a physical thing, of course, and our hygiene is really important. But it's also like a subconscious mind cleaning, our being, releasing things that no longer serve our highest being. As I realized, the universe will then call on us to expand upon that. We'll be asked to go into other areas, different places, other towns, communities, and continue to clear and clean out our subconscious mind, diving deeper into the heart and somewhat, having a ripple effect around us. About 5 years ago, I kept getting a strange but very strong call to move from Arizona to Oregon. And I got to be on the coast again, which was like my favorite. But the one thing that I noticed really deeply, and I got to see like this contrast, was that the land was seriously hurt in a way. And I knew that familiar feeling because I had been on similar energetic ley lines in my own state where there had been unfortunate events. And just like a cake, basically our reality is layered. So there's these layers of dimensions of eras that are instilled within the cellular memory of the land. And somebody who has earth divination skills or is studying geomancy can somewhat pick up on these layers. And so for me, as a channel for Gaia was kind of unfolding these layers to me, earth layers, all these stories from, times past. I was able to pick up on it. And it's not just one group of people, many different groups of people, different, cultures. Like I said, I was connecting to my own ancestry. So I was able to stay there, and I was working through the hurt and then the pain that was coming up within myself. I remember every night kind of listening to the ocean, and it was just this darkness. It was such a deep, dense darkness. It was almost like the land was crying to me. The ocean was just showing me its pain. And I had never seen anything like this before. Now that's kind of when I knew Spirit was sending me here, like for a specific reason. So again, the seasons pass, I go back down because I'm not going to stay through the rainy season. And then again, the spring season comes around, and Spirit is saying your mission is to go to Oregon. So I pack up and I go, and this time I have like a meeting and specific people, and I'm working with people this time. But at the same time, I still have my own work and my own work of doing my earth divination, earth clearing, ceremonial healing for planetary ascension, basically. My Stargate opening, that's what I was planning to do as well. So as I went there for the season, the darkness and the deepness of this area really speaks to me. So this time, I decided to get to know the land through the eyes of the people. And I started speaking with the people that I was working with. This one in particular, I won't say her name, but I don't know. I don't know if you've met somebody so just vile and their name just doesn't match up with them. I'm going to be honest with this person. Her name, I'll just say her name was Precious. The main person that helped me understand the dense, dark sadness that the land was feeling. This person kind of helped me understand why this phenomenon was happening. So, Precious and I were kind of living in close quarters. We were both working on a farm. Looking back, she was just like super dodgy towards me. In the beginning, I remember she was like trying to avoid me. I remember one night in particular, she didn't really have anything in common with me. She was really into drinking and stuff. I knew that. So, but then we got on this one subject that kind of lit her up, and she started talking, and I was like, okay, here we go. She starts talking about the county and Jefferson State and how they don't want to be connected to the government, that it's really basically bad for race. Like most people are for segregation and they don't like people of color. So the owner and Miss Precious, that was the conversation they had with me. They really wanted me to know that. And that evening, that night, I remember going to sleep and I had some wild, crazy dreams. My heart was just overloaded. I felt like I was getting downloads from the land. And I remember waking up that next morning and just being so disheartened, but at the same time I had been given a huge mission. And from then on, I knew that I could no longer connect to the humans there. That was very clear. They had shown me in numerous ways that they were in service to lower self, and that they had been very complacent with that type of ideology. Like basically, they were not against that. So I knew that I was there for a reason, but it wasn't to connect with the people. So I like thought to myself and asked Spirit, is it true? Does everyone in this county, does everyone in this state really have this type of thinking? I was really sad for them because honestly, for me, racism is just self-hatred. It's a way for us to deny our own oneness with humanity. So for me, I was very sad. And but Spirit said, your mission isn't over. I want you to go back to the coast and build a bridge. And I'm like, what? What type of bridge? Like, I was to the point where I wanted to get out of there. It made me sick to my stomach. Just to feel the land and to feel people's eyes on me and just to know that people hate. I just didn't want anything to do with it. And Spirit said, no, I want you to shift this for me by going to the coast and building a bridge. Right there in Port Orford. It's one of the biggest ports in the United States, and they're just bringing up the freshest fish and seafood right there. And I really get a nudge from Spirit to go eat, and this is kind of out of my jurisdiction because I usually don't go out to eat, and I especially I'm really wary of seafood in restaurants and whatnot. But it's right there on the ocean, and you can literally see the nets coming out of the water. So I think to myself, well, it could be good. And I go and I get a meal, and it was one of the best interactions I had that entire season. I remember this restaurant was being ran by I think it might have been a small family, I'm not sure. But I think they're called like the Crazy Norwegians or something like that. But anyway, they fed me. I ended up going back and I tried not to, but they had like good fries, and I went back for soup, and yeah, the fish and chips were so good. But anyway, I found myself going back to the restaurant and just being cool with these people. Like this woman, she would take my order and like help me in and talk to my dogs, and I just was like, oh my gosh. Spirit was like, yes, keep building this bridge. I want you to see that not everyone is ingrained, and I want you to create new layers to add to this cake, because we're talking about the cellular memory. So Gaia is listening, like listening to what is happening in my experience, and I'm basically adding another layer. And this was what Spirit was wanting. Spirit was wanting to open up a new gate of consciousness, and just basically people like you, higher conscious beings, we just get sent places to be. And us just being present literally can open up a portal, a gateway to higher levels of consciousness. And we can be the ones to be the ambassadors. So we basically access the higher light, and we're conduits, and we transfer all that light back into earth, and we create new layers. So that's what I was doing sitting there on the coast. I was building bridges with the marine life. I was building bridges with the trees and the birds, and like I said, the people that I got in contact with on the coast. I at first was very disheartened because of what I had just been through, but Spirit allowed me to open up and to see that not everyone is trapped in their own hell, and other people can open up and be present with you and be in their heart, regardless of who you are. And I experienced that, and I was fed. I was fed the best food, and I was given love by people that, are in a place that around them there's so much like negative instilled thinking, and the land is mourning that. The land really wants us to shift that, and I do feel like that's why I was called in. I just wanted to share that with you guys. Open up the stargates, open them up, be the bridge, share with those around you, and create new layers of consciousness. This is what we're here to do. Just know that you have the strength, you have the light, you have access to the database, you are the source. So, anyway, so much love to you. Till my next one, take care.